All right. Hey, everybody. So today we're going to go over the Han Dynasty. Okay, this is your intro lesson. So we're going to circle back around to ancient China just for a little bit. So today we're going to talk about the Han Dynasty of China, which was also known as the Golden Age of China. All right, let's go ahead and go through our first slide here. So the political aspects of ancient China. It was ruled by dynasties. Y'all learned that in your previous lesson of ancient China, but also in India as well. But more so with China. And this is when you have rulers from the same family that govern. Okay, you had the Qin dynasty; they were the first, but eventually they lost what's called the mandate of heaven. Now, if y'all remember, the mandate of heaven was one of your vocabulary terms. And this means that the gods empower the leader, okay? They empower the emperor. After the Qin dynasty lost the mandate of heaven, the Han dynasty then came after them, okay? There was this strong sense of a centralized government. So the government was efficient, all right? Because again, everything is coming in one place. And so all of your bureaucrats had to pass difficult tests. Bureaucrats are basically people that are in high level governing positions. They had to take what was called civil service exams to determine what position in the Chinese government that they served in. Okay. The next one is economic. All right. So agriculture was considered to be very important. Trade was not respected, but it was very important still. It was very still important. Traded with the Roman Empire via the Silk Road. And again, the Silk Road, we covered that as well in ancient China unit previously as well. And we know that the Silk Road got its name because, again, China being the land of the silk, that was a name that ancient Rome, which I will learn about later, that was a name they gave to ancient China. And so, again, it was a network of roads for them to trade with other civilizations. And so the government had formed monopolies on most businesses. Some of those businesses included silk, mining, and alcohol. Now, monopolies simply mean that they are the only place that can produce that certain product. You can't get it anywhere else. All right. And so, again, here is a picture of the Silk Road. Just as I may mention, the different networks of roads for how they would trade with other civilizations. All right, then we get to the religious aspect of the Han Dynasty. And so, again, there were two sets of ideas that influenced Chinese religions. And again, this is reinforcing and coming back around to what we talked about earlier in ancient China. There was a sense of Confucianism, this belief of Confucianism, this philosophy. And so, in other words, it means that harmony comes from respecting elders and the emperor. So when you respect your elders, again, there came this sense of peace and harmony. There was this other belief system called Taoism. And Taoism is happiness is accepting life as it is, not changing. But in other words, it's like content. If you've ever heard the word content, it means to be happy with where something is currently. Your schools also taught these ideas, to all people to unify the land of Han China. And so if y'all remember, one of the aspects of grapes, S in grapes means social structure. And so this here is a pyramid that enforces and reemphasizes the social structure. Emperor, your governors and kings, your nobles, scholars, and state officials. Then you have your peasants, mainly your farmers. Then you have your artisans and merchants. You have your soldiers, and then you have your slaves. So in terms of the intellectual aspect, many inventions that came out of the Han Dynasty included the seismograph, paper, the water wheel, improved plowing techniques, and collar harness. They were very artistic. So you had this sense of landscaping and portrait paintings. They were well advanced. And in the Han Dynasty, the authors actually wrote a lot of essays. They wrote a lot of plays, and they also developed a lot of histories, which is honestly how we know so much about them. So if you remember from the time we started at the beginning of the year talking about the cave paintings, right? The earlier ways of keeping records up till now, we've come a long way. All right. Of course, this here being some of the early Chinese dynasties, so from the Qia dynasty to the Shang dynasty, the Chao dynasty, the Qin dynasty. But again, this week we're specifically focusing on the Han dynasty. And so again, here's another picture, specifically during the Han Dynasty of the Silk Road. And again, as I may mention, it is this network of roads by which you traded with other civilizations. This is the land again, kind of highlighting the Han Dynasty. So I'm gonna highlight it right here with my pointer here, all right, to show you how big the Han Dynasty, how much land they controlled during their reign of leadership. All right, again, there's another picture re-emphasizing Han China, the Han Dynasty in China. And then, of course, we went over this here. So Confucianism returns during the Han Dynasty. So Confucianism returns, and now there's this sense of Buddhism. And again, this belief in Buddhism came from missionaries, and we know missionaries to be people who come from a faith background, and they're carrying their religion to another civilization. And so they also not only brought goods to other civilizations to China, but the missionaries also brought this Buddhist belief system, which still reigns in China today. So the Han Dynasty was known as the Golden Age of China. Now, when you think Golden Age of China, you don't think poverty, lacking anything, right? You see this sense of abundance, wealth, knowledge, right? Now, some of their strict rules were modified. They changed a little bit. Yet your Confucian concepts, they were well established, and there was this sense of an imperial-style government developed by the Shaishan Dynasty. It was also kept. So the Han Dynasty was known for military prowess. So again, they really utilized their military to help enforce structure. And so, of course, again, here under creativity are just some of the other inventions that we also talked about. The wheelbarrow, bet you didn't know that, but the wheelbarrow was also one of the great inventions from the Han Dynasty that we still utilize today. Okay. Again, talking about this here. So they promoted Confucianism, established the civil service exam. Again, bureaucrats, that's how they got their jobs. Again, further technological advancements. All right. And then these last three pictures here, or next three pictures here, again, is just reinforcing the Silk Road. This one here talking about how the Han Dynasty began to expand. This is doing the exact same thing, showing the Roman Empire connection. And you will be able to put these two together once we get to the ancient Rome unit. And then, of course, you have the two great empires with the Han China. All right, so you have Han China, and you also have Rome as well. And so, again, this is shared with you so that you can come back and look at this anytime that you would like. And this will also prove to be very helpful once we do get into, as we continue to further deepen your lessons this week. All right. Thank y'all for listening, and welcome to Han China.